Okay, back to where we were. Right, this is all about how to get in touch with prospects. It's phoning. Okay, it's all about phoning. And there will never be a short change to it, because it's about building rapport. And I may have said it last week, and I will repeat this. What a phone call will do is it's two-way communication. It's not as good as Zoom, where we see each other and we're talking, and it's definitely not as good as face-to-face. Nothing will beat face-to-face, because although I may not be a terribly spiritual person, what I do know is when you're with someone, I actually believe your body's energy does have an impact on the other person and vice versa. And I actually think there is this kind of aura that happens and people feel it. And I think people, you know, we talk about gut instinct. I actually think that gut instinct is a very real thing. I think people know when they meet you, within no space of time, they'll know that you're an honourable person, you're a trustworthy person. And I don't think that that can ever, ever be got over in a text message. Now, let's just get one thing straight. Texting, Facebook messaging, what else? WhatsApp, emailing, all that stuff that's written is not chatting. It's one-way communication. You send a message, you then think, oh, I wonder if they'll reply. I wonder when. In the next 5 minutes, in the next hour, the next day, the next week. Because the reality is, it's only gone one way. And it can be open to ambiguity. Gosh, have I made some faux pas in my past? Huge amounts of faux pas, okay, where people have misread what I've written and they've taken it all out of context, and I've offended somebody and I've not meant to. Isn't that something that we're all able to do? Yeah, I can see some nodding. We can all do it and we don't mean to. And that's because the written word doesn't have, here it is, intonation. It doesn't have passion. It doesn't have that joyous up, down of the voice. Now, I might have said to you all last week that my dear late husband, Chris, who I still love entirely, bless him, when he was on the phone, it was like he was about to slit his throat. There was no intonation. And even all the years later with him, I still used to have to ask him, are you all right, darling? Because he didn't have that. Whereas you can hear, if I had like a, I don't know what they call it, an intonation-nometer, mine would be going up and down the whole time, because people hear that excitement. They might hear sadness. They will hear the whole gambit of emotions that only the voice can bring. Very important that people see our faces. People see the expression. They see the body language, because at least on Zoom, you're even seeing me gesticulating, which is another thing that human beings do. You can't show that on a text message. People try to do what are they called? What are those little faces?
Emoji.
Emojis, thank you very much. They do these emojis and they do all this stuff, but actually even they could be wrong, couldn't they? You could send the wrong emoji. And here's the other thing. Anyone else been foul to predictive text changing what they sent just at the last moment? It happens all the time, and you just look at it, you read back and go, oh no, that wasn't what I wrote. So we've got to pick up the phone. Why don't we like picking up the phone? I'll tell you why. Because we're all afraid of two little letters, the word no. I don't know why we don't like the word no. I have no idea why we don't like it, because actually every no, where we learn, where we grow. All the experience and all the success happens in the growth of the challenges. We don't actually have any success in the success, because all it is, oh, well, I've achieved that. Great. Makes you feel good for a few moments and then it's move on. Whereas we learn the stuff in the challenges. So actually, should we not embrace those challenges? Should we not embrace the objections, the stuff that comes at us? Actually, we should, because when somebody throws an objection at us, do you know what they're actually doing? They're engaging. It shows they're interested. I tell you what's worse, and I've had this, bless her. Dear Rose is the lady that was also sat on the three-way Zoom with a couple one night on a Friday evening at 8 o'clock. I have never in my life experienced such expressionless, movementless couple. It was just deadpan, like they weren't real people. And I kept thinking, I wanted to go, boom. I wanted to make a move. I wanted some reaction, because Rose, they were just straight, weren't they? And what I did was that I decided it needed a few questions. Less presentation, more engagement. And I had to actually start asking questions to get some feedback. I tell you what, when somebody doesn't put anything to you, that's when you've got to worry. When somebody comes back at you with something, that's a fantastic thing. It means they're bothering to listen. Yeah. So listening is actually the key. So we need to ask questions. And when we ask questions, we get feedback. And feedback is not objections. Work on this. Say, write it down big and bold. An objection is feedback. That's brilliant. That's what we want. Okay. So I'm trying to help you here with a bit of psychology. So the new people come on board and we do a fast start plan with them. And we help them build a contact list. And at first, it's extremely hard for them to grasp that we don't necessarily need to know lots about these people. We just need to have come into contact with them, because every day, except for days like today, the only bodies I've come into contact with are my 6 chickens. I haven't been out the house today, okay, but I have spoken to people on the phone and I have seen people on Zoom. All right, but we are in contact with people all the time. The more we go out, actually, the better. Okay, so I am a little bit about Zoom has its place, but actually there's nothing quite like being with someone. And yesterday I was out and about and I was helping 2 brand new partners, which is very useful to you, that have just come on, and they wanted to sign up their own businesses. They have a fantastic big plug for them restaurant in southeast London called the Rocksteady Rum Lounge, which is just the most amazing Jamaican food I've ever had in my life. Beautiful. And it was to sign up that. And then it was also to sign up a brand new business they're just starting in Bournemouth called Rhythm. I think it was Rhythm Gifts. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And it was also to add broadband and mobile landline phone to the existing home account of gas and electric. Can I just say to you, had I not been with them, this would have been impossibly difficult. And I'm going to explain why. Because had I been on Zoom, the 47-minute wait, I'm being honest, to head office to add phone, broadband and mobile would have been a very long, and I think it would have all ended. I understand from evidently Justin Bazzino last night at a buzz down in Gosport that the times are down to 1 minute. Well, I didn't experience that yesterday, I'm being honest with you. I waited 47 minutes, but do you know what I did in the meantime? I gathered lots of information about the 2 businesses I was going to add. So actually, I stuck it on low sound and I just kept engaging with them. And do you know what? Time goes quick when you're talking and you're asking questions and they're coming back. And in fact, we utilise that time really well. Now, I'm not saying that to run head office down, but I think they must have been extremely busy and I must have been terribly unlucky and rung at peak time. Because the interesting thing was, when in my heart, I then rang the business team line and I'm thinking, oh, mercy, please answer the phone. It was answered immediately, straight away. And it was just so simple. A fantastic man called Brian Johnson, did it all, and we added 2 new accounts for them. So in fact, probably by Friday, they're going to show QD. So they'll have their 3 customers, which is great. Now, what I'm saying to you is there was lots of energy and engagement because I was with them, and it whiled away the time, and it enabled me to learn about them and ask more and more. Very important with new partners. We can't expect them to come on and just do stuff at all. If any of us look at the beginning, go back to your beginning. How could you just go out there on your own and just do it? You can't, can you? It's like anything. No one could jump in the driving seat and drive a car without instruction. So I don't know quite why people bring partners in and just kind of like hope that they're just going to somehow manage to do stuff. It's not going to happen. So what we've got to teach them is the calling. And I'm now going to explain all about calling. Initially in the early days, not us, the older ones, experienced ones, it's all about getting an interest with people. And it's not mentioning services. And I'll tell you why. The British public are the most negative. I've never met such a miserable, negative lot as the British. They really are. They know everything about everything, and they know nothing about nothing, and they dismiss things before they even know what they're dismissing. Think about that one. Yeah, they do. You know, if you mention gas and electric, no, oh, I've got the best deal out. I follow Martin Lewis. Mind you, he hasn't been much help lately, has he? What it is they will not realise that this is different. It's all on one bill. Every time we spend money outside, we get money back. And I mean on anything, absolutely anything, except things that you pay by direct debit, like water and council tax. So when I'm with someone, or if I'm on Zoom and I show my bill, I'm now projecting how brilliant I think this is as a personal customer. I'm recommending it, I'm not selling it. And I want the chance to be able to show them a little presentation. This is what we want to do with new people. They want to show a presentation, but they've got to make an appointment. Now, what I say to them is, please don't mention gas, electric, phone and broadband. Call people and say, I've just started a new venture. I love the word venture, much nicer than business. And before I'm let loose on the public, do you know what? I need to get some practice. And you're one of my special 6. My special 6 people that instantly came to mind are the kind of people that would be helpful. Isn't that the right approach? First of all, you are actually saying to that person, I put you up, I elevate you. I actually think you're a really nice person. You're the sort of person that would do me a favour. Now, of course, I say to them, they're going to come back and say, what's it all about? Because that's just common curiosity. In fact, if they didn't say what's it all about, there'd be something seriously wrong. Again, they would be those kind of faceless people, wouldn't they? Yeah. So when they come back and they say, what's it all about? I then say, you've got to say to them, well, it's a special discount club where every day we spend money, food, shopping, parking, petrol, anything, we get money back. How would you like to get money back on your everyday shopping? Just like that. Now, do you know what? That will usually kill the curiosity. That should be enough. And then I say to them, you've already got my diary because I've sent it to you. You know my availability. All you're now doing is you are now getting a time set up. And we talk about the alternative close. There is no short change to this. This is the way to do it because people want choices. They hate to feel cornered. All right. Say to somebody, are you free next week? They'll go, no, I'm busy. But say to somebody, oh, next week, are you free Monday morning or Tuesday afternoon? And what they'll do, they'll go, ding, the brain will go into action and they'll go, oh, I better look at my calendar or my diary. And they'll go and have a look. And then they'll say, oh, actually, Tuesday afternoon's okay. Or they'll say, can't do Monday morning or Tuesday afternoon. But for some reason, because you've given them a choice, what they'll do is they'll come back and they'll go, but I tell you what, I'm free on Wednesday and I'm free also Thursday morning. Is that any good? Now, because you've already got the coach, as I call it, the coach's diary, you're now then simply going, oh, yes, I've got a slot there. I've got a slot. I can do that Thursday morning. Did you say Thursday morning? They say, yeah. See, what sort of time were you thinking of? And they'll go, oh, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Say, what would you prefer, 9:30 or 10 o'clock? And they say 9:30. So great. Now, hang on a minute, though. Do you mind me asking, is there anything at all? This is the consolidation, guys. This is the bit you don't do. This is the bit you got to write down. No matter what, when you book that appointment, you then turn around and say, you know, you said 9:30 on Thursday. Can you think, is there absolutely anything that's going to get in the way? Because my coach is a busy lady and she's helping lots of people. And what I can't do is let her down because somebody else could take that slot. And I say to the new people, do you know what's brilliant about that? I've taken all the emphasis off you and I've put it on me. I could be that nasty person that's saying, don't let me down. Because that's what it's really saying, isn't it? Don't let me down. So then if they come around and they go, no, there's nothing in place. I sometimes, when I'm on a stand, sorry, that's my accountant trying to now help me with what I can't do. What I would then say is the consolidation, sometimes I double consolidate it and I say, I know you said there's nothing that can get in the way. Are you absolutely sure? Because I'd really like this firm. And do you know, the thing is, what you're doing is you're cementing that in. Because who wants letdowns at the last moment? Nobody. It drives us mad, doesn't it? Because all it does is push it on. And then you start to wonder, oh, God, do they really want to see me? And we want to get rid of that. So the consolidating is really vital. Now that, in terms of us, older people, okay, no, I don't mean that. I mean more experienced folk. That doesn't change. It's still a must when we make calls. You know, I've just this week managed to obtain 2 appointments that came both from previous 20k giveaways. And one of them, I signed him up last night, did it by Zoom. And the interesting thing was, this particular young man could be more analytical or green if you tried. And yet, although he was also very kind of airy-fairy with it, because he wouldn't let me help him in December. And then yesterday evening, he said, I should have listened to you, Lisa, shouldn't I? He said, I would have been better off. I said, well, sadly, you would. I said, but at least you're doing the right thing now. And he said, yeah. And what he couldn't get his head round was this 54% hike that who he's currently with, it's not just going to end. It won't be 54% on that. It's 54% on that present supplier's new prices. Like, because he was in a fixed rate that's not expiring until the 12th of April. And what he's now grasped is it's not that, it's that company has already got higher prices out of the fixed rate. Are you all with me? Yeah. And it's 54% on that. And he went, oh no. He said, that's why when I've been online, Utility Warehouse is the cheapest. I said, yes. I said, I can say to you, I said, I could lay all my commission on it. Will? I said, every bit. There is not going to be a price anywhere that's going to beat this. So I said, I know I'm doing you the right thing. Now, is that confidence or what? How many of you would have said that? I wonder. I wonder. And do you know what people buy? They buy confidence. And how do you get confidence? No short change here. It's going to the gym every day, not once a month. Do you remember, to get that nice fit body, it doesn't happen once a month. You've got to do it every day. And to get good at this, you've got to do something every day. So you've got to pick up that phone and make those calls the way I've described. You've got to ring them up. Now, if it's to ring them up from you met them somewhere, I don't know, a 20K, and just say, hey, listen, we just met before Christmas at some fatal fair. And we met and I talked about showing you an incredible company. Well, unfortunately, things have worsened, as we all know. We all know there's a massive energy crisis, and it is being enforced by our government. It's outside of the suppliers. People think it's all the suppliers. Unfortunately, they've got no choice. They are being told to do this. And I would say to them, do you know what? Utility Warehouse is absolutely rock solid. It's the one company that won't go under, because it's not just energy, it's telephony and insurance products, a whole multitude of products. And also that it's firm in place because it's got a great existing contract with its original energy wholesale supplier. So on 2 accounts. And in fact, if you actually go on the Meerkats and you put in, do it for yourselves, go on. Put your own in there, have a look, put it in, all the consumption. You're going to be gobsmacked at what you see. First, second, third, there it is. UW is the best. It's amazing. And it will give you the confidence as well, because then it will give you confidence to pick up the phone and say, how are you doing? Listen, we met. I'd love 20 minutes of your time to just show you. Do you know what? If you're not currently in a fixed rate, that was done prior to February, please note these words. If you're not currently in a fixed rate that was fixed before February, you are officially paying more than you need to. That's the words. You are officially paying more than you need to. Now, every company can say they'll save people money, but that lingo is what everybody uses. It's about, we officially can actually reduce their bills. They're officially paying more than they need to. Now, what else is the reason they're officially paying more than they need to? Well, because when they add phone and broadband and a mobile, there's £200 to help them switch, but also they get another 10% off the broadband price. Now it's seriously good. Seriously good. Yeah. What makes it beyond? Cashback. Cashback on everything. Absolutely everything. In fact, this month on March, I got the least cashback that I've ever had. It was only £11.56. And I'm usually £30 to £50 a month. I didn't do much shopping in February. I think it was I knuckled down and I got on and did some work instead of spending. But I know I've got a big cashback coming this month. And the thing is, I don't know if anybody ever notices, but when I talk about the cashback, I actually get quite sort of excited. And I think people do, because you feel like you've got one over, don't you? You know, that money that keeps eliminating the bills. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice when it eliminates a bill entirely? You know, like for me in February, it eliminated the electric and half of my other half's mobile. How cool was that? You know, you just feel like you've got one over these companies, don't you? It's so nice. So here's the thing. Here's another thing to build confidence. Things you can say to customers. Look, my friend Lisa's accountant has said she gets about £600 a year cash back. And he says what people don't realise is the value of it. This is how I talked this Will last night into, he wasn't going to have the cashback card. Can you believe it? I said, what, Will? I said, you're missing a trick. I said, do you know what my accountant says? And this is what I said. He tells me I get about £600 a year. And he said, Lisa, you go out there, you work and you earn money and you pay tax and insurance on it. Then you spend your earnings. And now when you spend it, you're now earning cash back, but you're not paying tax and insurance on it. It's worth 25% more. How cool is that? Free money, earning money from spending money. Why wouldn't anyone take it? How easy is that? Is that not a clincher? When you know, when someone says, oh, well, what makes you different? I'd say, oh, God, it's unique. Listen, my cashback each year has totally eliminated for me the electricity bill. Wow, who could say that? I don't know that it will continue, because when my fixed rate runs out, I'm going to be like everybody else. It will go up and it's going to be a lot more. But it has done in the past, or I will say in the future, it utterly eliminates my partner's mobile and our phone and broadband. How would you like to have free phone and broadband completely, just because your everyday spending? These are all things that enable us to be able to cope with those questions and those objections. Another quick one while I've got time. I've actually had somebody ask me, was it a pyramid scheme? What? I mean, I thought that one went out with the ark, but it's still floating around. When they say to me, is it a pyramid scheme? Now, I know Melanie's smiling there. Not, because she's had it. And it was, funny enough, the husband of the customer that wasn't present. Isn't that interesting? It's always the other half that didn't bother to listen to the presentation, didn't see what it was about. Well, what he did, he went on a website and he found a load of moaning minis, as I call them. You know, those websites where everybody does is just post bad stuff. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing, I went on the site as we were having dinner and I put in his present provider, Talk. And guess what came up? 1.4. Absolutely horrendous reviews. So I said to Melanie, go back to the missus, tell her for her husband to put in his present provider and realise it's just a load of moaning minis. But the pyramid thing, I say to people, do you know what pyramid is? Do you know what pyramid selling is? Do you know they never know? They don't. They've just heard this. They think it's a sort of arrow to pierce you with, don't they? Ah, I'll get her. Well, it's not. I say to them, what is it? And they go, I don't know. And I say, well, actually, it was something that was outlawed in 1987. It was a company that came to the UK from America called Amway. And actually, they did sell really good products. It's just that they had a system in place that when you recruited a new partner, what happens? You got a great big upfront whack of money and no incentive to help support that new person in their business venture. It was outlawed because it was bad. Actually, it doesn't exist anymore. But if you really want to be pedantic, I say to them, I used to belong to the biggest pyramid out. I was in Surrey Police Force. There was a chief constable, 2 ACCs, chief inspectors, sergeants, and all the constables. It was a pyramid. So is Tesco's. So is Morrison's. Everything is a pyramid. So it's just a very, very silly accusation that people throw because they want to seem like they're clever. Is that not true? I think in this world, everything is about ego. The more I learn that it's all about egos at play. People want to think they've done the best. They've got the best. Instead of being open-minded and saying, as I felt when I met Rob Barras, when he showed me savings, I just went, excellent, sign me up. Does anybody ever do that? Not often. And I came into this believing everybody wanted to save money. Why wouldn't they? Found out it wasn't quite like that. So what we've got to do is new people, we've got to help them reach out, make the calls without mentioning services. So they've got a fighting chance of getting those practice sessions with special people that care enough to give them a bit of time so they can learn something, learn controls of Zoom and learn how to show a presentation. For us, it's the same old thing. Make the calls and just answer the questions. And if they say no, stick them in the no for now book. Because do you know what? Sometimes they come up. You know, this will He was a no for now 3 times. 3 times I've called him. And then last night I signed him up. So there you go. Has that helped with calling? Please release yourselves and ask questions, because I just felt it was something that we had to deal with. Anybody got any questions? I don't believe you. Come on then, who's going to make 2 calls straight afterwards? Oh, anybody? Going to own up? Going to make 2 calls? Going to put them in? Pardon? Who spoke? Who spoke?
I've got
Certainly
one.
make one anyway.
Yeah.
Right now.
Are you short of prospects?
No, is anybody?
No, really, I'm asking a question. Is anyone short of prospects? Because
Not
if you
now.
are, you've got to get into activity, and that means 20k giveaways or neighbour letters if you are truly short of prospects. All right, that's the only way. You've got to get in front of people. You've got to get out and about. And we're coming up to the 20k giveaway season. It's soon upon us. In fact, I've got my first ones this month coming up. And it means we get in front of more folk, which is fabulous. Shall I tell you what people aren't doing though? When they actually do see someone and sign them up, you aren't asking for referrals, recommendations.
Mm.
And if you did, you would find that you were busier a lot longer. Recommendation is everything. It really is. And it is because you show them that extra care, that you bother, stuff like that. That's how the recommendations come. The genuine recommendations anyway. I think people see if you care, don't they?
Yeah.
They know if you're genuine. Guys, it was a bit of a repeat, but I think it was an important one. Yeah, Alan?
Yes. Will we be able to provide our customers with direct customer support ourselves? With apparently UW are not providing the distributors with as much access to the customer accounts or customer status as they used to.
Yeah, they've got to. This is government invasion again. So for some of my customers, although I don't particularly want it all the time, for some of my customers now, I actually have authority on their account. The only thing I can't do is I can't do things like order services. That means I'm spending their money, and rightly so. I wouldn't want that. That's quite worrying. Yeah, but I do have access to be able to make decisions for them. Yeah.
Okay. Or 3-way calling is quite a good idea when you can't directly help them. Just 3-way calling.
Yeah, 3-way calling is absolutely brilliant, and you can do that with WhatsApp calling, can't you? Yeah, you can do 3-way calls, lots on WhatsApp. Very easy to do. You just keep adding people in. In fact, I've actually had a 5-way call on WhatsApp. Right, guys, next week we'll still be here. I'm afraid it will still be me. I am going to take up on something that Jen Williams has put forward next week, and I'll send it out the day before, so I'll give you time to have a look at it. All right. But I just thought this business of making calls is the thing, is the stumbling block. I know. Yeah. All right, guys, lovely to speak with you. Take care.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.